Katey Halliday joined the Rotary family in 2011. Following the Ryler program, she's been a team leader, coordinator and trainer. Bit of an underachiever, really. Then, as one of the 3 founding members who established the Adelaide City Rotaract Club in 2012, she took on the roles including Secretary, Professional Development Coordinator and President. Recently, Katey's been working with the Rotary Club of Adelaide Light to promote Rotary as an inclusive organisation. In her day job, her work with StatePol as a project officer and training facilitator sees the development of strategies designed to make the organisation a workplace where people feel safe, respected and encouraged to reach their full potential. Now, on the other end of the Rotary spectrum, this man has worked for 50 years without a real job. At least that's what his patter says. His comedic talent, quick delivery, quick wit belies his genuine concern for humanity and a passion for Rotary. Tony Pilkington is not only a character, he has character, and can share the Rotary journey that includes a chauffeur to family court judge to stirring up a moribund group of Rotarians in Brisbane. A warning, this segment could go anywhere. Please welcome Katey and Tony to share their Rotary experience.
My Rotary experience started for completely selfish reasons. I was knee-deep into a law degree and learning rapidly that even if I could get through the hard slog of 6 years of study, I still wasn't guaranteed a job. And so when the opportunity to add leadership experience to my CV came along, I jumped at the opportunity to attend the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, or RYLA as it's more affectionately known. Many of you will know this program well, as sponsors of numerous attendees over many, many years. I hope you know just how life-changing this experience is for young people. For me, that life-changing experience was in 2011. And now the experiences that I have gained since being introduced to Rotary have taken up the majority of my CV, with the law degree that I did eventually finish taking up just a small proportion. At the time I attended RYLA, I was living in Glenelg, which sits within District 9520, and I'd grown up in the Barossa Valley, but I was sponsored by 2 clubs who didn't know me from a bar of soap: the Rotary Club of Playford and the Rotary Club of Tea Tree Gully. I'm eternally grateful that these clubs said yes to supporting me as a young person to attend this program, in the hope that it would bring out some untapped leadership potential in me, and it did. Together with Catherine McLeod and Bernie Barrett, 2 people I met on RYLA who I now consider among my closest friends, we established the Adelaide City Rotaract Club, with the vision of starting a new Rotaract Club in Adelaide for young professionals looking to develop their personal and professional skills by engaging in community service activities. After chartering the club in 2012 with 21 members, I'm proud to say that the club recently celebrated its 6th birthday and has a healthy membership base of 32 members. As I move on from Rotaract, having now reached the age of 30, I'm confident that the club will continue to grow and succeed under the leadership of our newer members and the continued support of our members to take up opportunities like RYLA. Throughout my time in Rotaract, I've learnt so much about myself, I've built a lot of confidence, and I've had the opportunity to meet wonderful people from all over the world. One particularly fortunate encounter was meeting a guest speaker at one of our Rotaract meetings, Inspector Sandy Morey of the South Australian Police, who also happens to be a Rotary Peace Fellow. Coincidentally, the day I met Sandy was the day that I found out I was successful in a job application to work for StatePol, and we spoke about the fact that we were going to be colleagues. Fast forward 18 months, and I found myself applying for a new role where the manager was, you guessed it, Inspector Sandy Morey. After being successful in winning the role, Sandy provided me with the feedback that it was my Rotaract experience that told him that I had a broader view of the world that would serve me well in working in an area that aims to promote professional, respectful and inclusive behaviours within the workplace. I've now worked as a Diversity and Inclusion Project Officer for South Australia Police for 2 years. In this time, I've developed an understanding of the principles that support an organisation to create positive culture change so that everyone feels valued and included within the organisation. What we know is that organisations with a diverse workforce outperform homogenous organisations where everyone is the same. But diversity is not alone, is not enough to see the benefits, such as better service outcomes and a positive reputation among a broader demographic of the community. Diversity is pointless unless the people in our organisation feel confident and encouraged to share their diverse perspectives and have their opinions be valued. Why am I telling you this? The Rotary experience is felt by a diverse range of people. Rotary clubs exist all over the world. I felt the full effect of this last year at the RI convention in Toronto. We reach a broad range of people through our service project, with many being directed towards supporting women. And our youth programs are second to none. I can wholeheartedly attest to that. We are diverse, but based on my experience, I think that Rotary is not as inclusive as it could be because our diversity is not translating as much as we would like into a diverse membership base of men and women across all generations from a variety of cultural and religious backgrounds and of those from the LGBTIQ community as well. The Rotary experience for me has largely been positive, but I'd be doing a disservice to you all if I pretended it has all been positive. Knowledge is power, and unless we are aware of the problems, they cannot be solved. And unless we challenge the norm, nothing will change. There are norms that exist within Rotary that need to be challenged, and there have been times when I've considered leaving Rotary because I felt alone in my willingness to challenge the status quo. This feeling has at times become overwhelming, and I've struggled to see a way to overcome such a problem. The problems I'm talking about are bigger than the formalities of meetings that are not suited to some young people and that they don't enjoy. And it's bigger than the membership fees that many of us don't see the value of. The problem I'm talking about is the inappropriate comments and behaviours that create a perception that Rotary is not a safe, respectful and inclusive environment for diverse groups to learn and grow while serving their community. And if they don't feel safe, respected and included in the club environment, why on earth would they join, let alone stick around? I'm still here despite this issue because I've had such a positive experience in RILA and Rotaract. But as I consider my transition to Rotary, the challenges I will face have become readily apparent to me. But I've already got skin in the game, and I've built some wonderful connections within our district, and I feel fortunate to have earned the respect of many incredible Rotarians who are willing and eager to press for change. While I'm already invested though, think about those who are new to Rotary. If their first experience is not a positive one, if they don't feel included, they can easily choose to do one of 100 other things available to them on any given day or night of the week. I thought about providing some specific examples of some of the comments and behaviours that I've heard or been subject to at various Rotary meetings or events that have left me feeling completely disheartened about my otherwise positive Rotary experience. They include condescending comments about my age, not being listened to, being spoken over the top of, being leered at, and having comments made about my appearance. This behaviour makes me feel both uncomfortable and frustrated, and my Rotaract peers, I'm sure, could attest to having had similar experiences themselves. You might be thinking you don't need to hear this because you and your club don't act like this, but the comments and the behaviour I'm talking about do not come from a place of malice and is often well intended. What I'm saying is that some of the comments and behaviours that might have been acceptable 10, 20, 30 years ago are not acceptable anymore. There are numerous examples of culture change that we can see as examples. I can remember a time when racist jokes were told more frequently than they are now, but they're not acceptable anymore. People, including police officers, used to drink and drive, but times have changed and it's not considered acceptable behaviour anymore. Sexist and sexualised jokes and comments, though still told, are no longer acceptable in our society because they add to a culture of normalised behaviour and attitudes towards women, which becomes a slippery slope to other, more serious behaviours, including sexual harassment and sexual assault. But instead of dwelling too far into the negative, I thought I'd share with you two things that I believe will help us as a collective overcome this challenge, because it will take all of us to effect any real change. Firstly, I think we need to invest in our club members doing some form of diversity and inclusion awareness activity. It could be a session on inclusive language to learn about the effect that our words have on creating normalised behaviour. Gendered language, for instance, is a huge barrier towards achieving gender equality within Rotary. And given that this year marks just 30 years of women being allowed to join Rotary, with many Rotary clubs still discriminating against women joining, we still have a long way to go in that area. Unconscious bias and discrimination awareness training, and more importantly, strategies to avoid it. We could gain an appreciation for the significant impact that the Me Too movement has had on tackling sexual harassment. And bystander awareness training could assist us all in calling out the inappropriate behaviours when we see them or hear them. This could of course be done at district training level, but there's also a role for clubs to play in this as well, by taking proactive steps and thinking about how having a series of guest speakers on one or more of these topics. We need to bring this issue to the forefront of all members. The second tip I have comes from diversity and inclusion expert Verna Myers, who says, diversity is being invited to the party, inclusion is being asked to dance. Inviting new people to your club meetings and events is one thing, and don't ever underestimate the value of a personal invite. But what really makes a person feel included is getting to know them, what they're interested in, and asking them to contribute to the club functioning in some way. Of course it helps if the club has some upcoming events or projects running that allows for new people to get involved with. The strategies that could be employed to improve the Rotary experience are endless, but for any of them to work, they must be met with positive reception from the majority of Rotarians, those ones who are willing to accept that change is necessary for the success of our clubs and the continuation of Rotary long into the future. To be clear, my Rotary experience has been a positive one, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunities it has afforded me and the direction it has offered me in my personal and professional life. I attribute my interest in diversity and inclusion to my experience with Rotary, in particular from meeting people from all over the world, both at RILA and at national and international Rotary events. I love that I can go to a new town or city almost anywhere in the world and make connections with locals through Rotary, and I'm a big fan of next year's Rotary theme, Rotary Connects the World. I love my job and I often feel like I'm getting paid to do the work I love doing through Rotaract. Just last week, I was promoting Harmony Day throughout Saigon with a series of events and initiatives at local police stations and buildings. I'm also a trainer and facilitator, a role I wouldn't have had the confidence to do without the opportunity to be part of the team facilitating RILA and RIPEN. The guidance of Rotarian Catherine Logan completing my training qualification, and opportunities to speak at events such as this. As with all things, we must evolve to keep up with changing attitudes within society, to remain connected to and reflective of the community that we serve. I fear that with our ageing population, and dare I say it, ageing membership base, an evolutionary approach towards diversity and inclusion is not enough, as it's critical to our future capability to serve the community. Paul Harris himself said that if Rotary hopes to advance its aims, it must be evolutionary always and at times revolutionary. We cannot rely on change naturally occurring at the pace it has been, because before we know it, it will be too late. Already we are seeing a diminishing number of Rotary clubs in our district, hence the forthcoming amalgamation with District 9520. It is time for a revolutionary approach towards achieving diversity and inclusion within Rotary, to ensure that it remains vibrant and relevant in our local and international communities. Organisations everywhere are undertaking strategies to promote diversity and inclusion in their workplace, SACOL being just one of them. We have a dedicated branch of 15 staff working towards promoting a safe, respectful and inclusive organisation where all people are supported to reach their potential. And let me tell you, we are busy. There is a business case for doing so, with diverse and inclusive organisations outperforming those that are not, in areas including productivity, performance, retention and innovation. It is also simply the right thing to do. So for the benefit of all of our members, let's do something revolutionary towards promoting diversity and inclusion within our clubs to improve everyone's Rotary experience.